Are you a desperate League of Legends player who can't play and loses every promo game he gets into? Would you like to learn how to play mechanically difficult champions, but don't have enough time to spend in practice tool? Or are you just a idiot? Well, fear no more, because I am here. Learn from a trained professional how to get to the challenger without the help of others. Get ready for a dose of information, because you're about to watch my animated guide. Sup guys, it's me, and I'm back with another dose of your daily animated content that you subscribed for. Today, I'll teach you how to play champion, hated and loved by many, Yasuo. If you played League of Legends at least once in your life, you've probably seen Yasuo. He's the Japanese fella that wears a tablecloth instead of a t-shirt and has a palm tree on his head. He was released in the ancient times of 2013, and since then he has become such an iconic character for League of Legends. And that's not necessarily a good thing. Yasuo is hated by a really big part of community, and there's a reason for this. He is one of those champions that suffer from what I like to call two types syndrome, which means there are only two types of Yasuo players. One, that guy who has 13 kills in 7th minute and one-shots your tank in late game. Or two, that guy who loses lane in 5th minute, decides to roam bot lane and loses 1v1 against the support. And yet he still finds a way to blame you for it. Now before we start, I will very briefly summarize Yasuo's lore. It is pretty deep and complicated, so I won't cover everything. Yasuo used to be a very famous Ionian swordsman. Last warrior to master the legendary wind technique. That all changed when he was wrongly accused for a murder of his master. So he lost all his honor and became a wanted criminal. He started wandering and trying to find the real killer. He met Talia and had a beef with Riven. Later he discovered that his master actually died when he wanted to help Riven destroy her sword. Yeah, I told you I will go over it really briefly, but it is a really good story and you should definitely read it yourself. Fun fact, Yasuo and Illidan Stormrage have the same voice actor. If your boring basic skin isn't enough for you, you can spend your hard-earned money on those piles of pixels. First skin is insert a funny neckery joke that gives you a harmonica instead of a flute. Second one is edgy robot Yasuo that gives you a glow stick instead of a sword. Third one is Blood Moon Yasuo that attaches some weird snowman on your ass. And his latest skin, Nightbringer Yasuo. This skin has it all. Burning hair, cool spikes, those weird demonic meeps, and a lot of edgy quotes.
Mine is the sharp edge of night.
Actually, it's a nice skin, well done, Riot. Now let's jump right into his gameplay. Yasuo is a mobile melee fighter with extremely low cooldowns and no mana. Also, for some reason, this champion has two passives. First one is called Free Infinity Edge. Your critical strike chance is doubled, but your crits deal 10% less damage. As the name suggests, it's like an Infinity Edge, just without the stats, and your crits deal less damage, and you don't get that true damage. So basically it's the same. Your second passive is Shield. Bet you haven't seen that one before. Since Yasuo doesn't have mana, his secondary bar is Flow. It's generated when Yasuo moves. Once your Flow bar is full, it will give Yasuo a shield upon taking damage from champions or monsters. Q is your famous stab move. Basically, it has three parts. First two casts make Yasuo thrust his sword in front of him, and the third one will instead somehow shoot a tornado. It knocks up everything in its path. Even though this ability has a really short cast time and cooldown, they can be both reduced by attack speed. Your W is a bane of every ADC.
Listen.
Yasuo creates a wall of wind that sends all enemy projectiles into the stratosphere. It doesn't matter if you shoot an arrow, launch a rocket, or throw a core of a newborn star into it. It just disappears. It can be really frustrating but it requires at least some amount of skill to time it correctly. E. This is what makes Yasuo so mobile. It's a simple dash. You target an enemy. Doesn't matter if they are a champion, minion or a monster. Press E and you dash to them. This ability has almost no cooldown, which means that if you have enough targets, you can dash infinite amount of times. But wait, that's not all. If you press Q while dashing, Yasuo will deal AoE damage at the end of the dash, and if you have your third Q active and you press it while dashing, it will also knock up everyone in the area. And now for his R. Maybe you have noticed that Yasuo has a lot of ways to knock up his opponents. It's because his ult can be only used on the knocked up enemies, which means that he loves having champions like Janna or Malphite on his team. And what does it do? Yasuo suspends all knocked up enemies and deals damage to them. It resets his flow bar and gives him an armor pen buff for 15 seconds. Or at least I think so, I haven't checked it actually. Overall, he has a really unique playstyle that really stands out from the rest of the champions. He is not necessarily OP, his kit is just really hard to balance. It's easier for Riot to balance more traditional characters. And how good is Yasuo? I don't know, it really depends on the player. I'm sure there are many good Yasuos, but for one good Yasuo, there are like 200 terrible ones. Yasuo has a lot of viable options when it comes to runes. I carefully created a list of top 5 runes for Yasuo. Here it is. I personally like to pick Conqueror and sprinkle it with some defensive options. But you can go whatever you want if it suits your playstyle. Just don't forget the Conqueror. After long hours of research, I constructed a perfect build for Yasuo. Yes, your build should change depending on the matchup, but you generally want to build something like this. Phantom Dancer. Attack speed from this item makes your Q faster, and your passive makes this item give you 60% crit instead of a 30. And then you want to build Infinity Edge. This item actually quadruples your crit chance, which means you are already at 100%. And the true damage from this item and Conqueror basically makes the enemy tanks go AFK. This is basically all you need. Then continue building Bloodthirster, Frozen Mallet, Guardian Angel, and boots of your choice. If you want something defensive, grab Steraks Gauge, Omen or Deadman's Plate. And if you are really fat, you can go for the Blade of the Ruined King or Static Shield, but I think that's an overkill. I could teach you some overcomplicated animation cancelling combo for Yasuo, but that's just pure garbage. Everyone knows that the most important combo for Yasuo are just those two buttons. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it because I worked really hard on it. If you really enjoyed it, consider clicking this to visit my Patreon page. Also, if you don't follow me on Instagram yet, you definitely should. I post all kinds of sneak peeks and concept art, so check it out. All links are in description. There are more videos to come. I have a lot of ideas. I'm thinking about animated guide for Warwick, Pyke, Kayn or Jinx. But if you have some video ideas, be sure to tell me in the comments below. And if you have some questions and you want to know something about me, we can maybe do a quick Q&A video. So ask me something if you want. So stay tuned and hit that subscribe button. See you in the next video.